Quiet Place was one of those movies that made me have a restored confidence in modern day horror movies. What's not to love? A new concept, new monsters that are basically indestructible, so much so that they even survived the destruction of their entire planet and then crash landed here on Earth via a freaking meteor totally unscathed. These creatures have armor that cannot be pierced by anything, it seems. No matter the caliber of artillery and no matter how large the blast, these creatures can hear you breathe. Well, not really. Or can they? Their hearing is obviously not that great if they can't hear somebody breathing quietly in a very still room, like in this scene. There's obviously some inconsistencies in this movie, but let's look past it. Whatever. There are some things that you can look past because, you know, it's new and it's a monster movie and it's actually a good movie despite some of its many flaws. However, the greatest flaw of all, the greatest transgression that cannot even defend this movie, the greatest sin it's made, is the way it ended. At the end of the movie, a woman who just gave birth moments ago and her deaf daughter are able to kill one of the monsters quite easily, but it's something that nobody else ever thought of. Something that requires the highest of IQs to figure out, and these people figured it out on accident. This mommy and her dottie used the ultimate weapon, and basically the only weapon that can be used against creatures like this that are blind and use hearing and sound to locate their prey. They used a shotgun. Okay, hear me out. What they used first was sound. Because who would have thought that in order to war against creatures who utilize sound, it's part of their everyday life and existence, that we would also have to use sound to hurt them. I mean, honestly, it's not rocket science. I found myself the entire time wondering, why didn't they use high-frequency sound to kill these things? Did they even try, though? There are certain sounds that we know hurt a dog's ears because of the frequency and decibel. In audio, or when it pertains to sound, frequency is a speed of vibration which determines the pitch of a sound, how high something is, or how low something is, which is how I really try to talk so people take me seriously. When something is vibrating fast, it's a high frequency, and when it's slow, it's a low frequency. A decibel is how loud something is. For example, a gunshot is 130 decibels. Compared to a quiet room, which is about 20 decibels. So, combining the frequency of something and the decibel of something, you can really hurt animals' ears and even hurt yourself. Quick story time. When I was at my uncle's house right after his house had been built, he told me that the entire field that they built the house on had field mice. Understandably, the poor mice who made their home in that field now suddenly have this huge alien structure in the middle of it. So naturally, they're gonna go inside of it thinking it has food, which it did. They're gonna explore it. It's freaking weird. Poison didn't work all the time, and it was very messy. And since my uncle had relatives with babies around, he didn't want to risk having poison out. So he brought this thing called an anti-mouse repeller, which I feel like is a, oxymoron, whatever. Or more commonly known as an ultrasonic pest control thing. It's on all the time, but us humans can't hear it. It's outside of our range of hearing. I thought it was a scam until one day I was going up the stairs from his basement and I saw a little tiny mass huddled in the corner of the carpeted stairs. As I looked closer, I saw that it was a little wee mouse. Its eyes were shut so tight, breathing so fast, and honestly, it looked as though it was in total agony. I knew it was still alive because it was twitching and I started petting it and it wouldn't move. It's like whatever was going on with it was so maddening that it was completely oblivious to its surroundings and totally oblivious to me petting it. I told my uncle and he said, yep, the ultrasonic device is working. Now for mice outside, hearing it, they would definitely stay the hell away from that source that's producing it. And as a result, it would repel them quite successfully. But any mice that were already inside would be stuck in a literal hell. My uncle told me not to touch it because it could carry diseases and whatnot. He basically used a plastic bag to pick it up and dispose of it. Of course, I didn't want him to kill it because I love animals. But then again, when you have a little creature that can have up to 15 babies and breed right after popping them out and make 12 babies every 25 days on average that will follow in their mother's footsteps by shitting in all of your food and pissing on all of your clothes, I can totally understand how it would be a problem and a very probable health risk as well. People have even used whistles that make certain sounds of certain frequencies to train dogs. We know that dogs' hearing is so much better than ours, so loud noises that wouldn't really hurt us would probably hurt them. I mean, it's not like humans didn't have any of this knowledge, so once they figured out that the aliens were drawn to wherever because of sound, because they were hypersensitive when it came to sound, it didn't occur to anyone else to utilize sound or these ultrasonic frequencies to hurt these things. I mean, They had the time to still print newspapers explaining what the aliens were and what their weakness was. Printing, distributing, and reading papers is also very noisy, mind you. Not even the greatest minds in the entire world could put together that they could utilize a weapon to wipe out all of these creatures or debilitate them by using an ultrasonic device. No, not one. But a rural, now single mother who just popped out to baby is able to shoot the monsters responsible for almost killing off the entire human race when her deaf daughter uses the hearing aid feedback to render these things unconscious. Yeah, okay. You guys know about Rule 34, right? If you can think about it, someone's made a special video about it. And this also applies to ideas. Does that mean someone has made the perfect woman that every guy can totally understand?
Hello, you. I'm Lisa. How are you?
We tried to satisfy every man who couldn't find the perfect woman.
Apparently they're working on that. Okay, I didn't say it's been made. I said someone had the idea already, which means that someone thought about killing those Quiet Place dudes with sound. Probably a little blind kid who also uses sound to get around. Well then, anyway, the ending was just very convenient, if I may say so, and I'm someone who loves this movie up and down a long flight of slippery stairs. Doesn't mean I can't address what everyone has already been thinking, because Rule 34 for ideas. I can't be the only one who thought it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer.